And we're live. Welcome back to the Gi Squad, where we've created a space to talk about all that life brings us on and off the mats. Today, we have a guest speaker with our topic. Our topic of the day is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and how is it a tool for human development. Our guest speaker is extremely special. He's our professor. Bernardo, how do you feel about this awesome tool we have?
I feel amazing, to be honest with you, just being invited by 4 women to talk about Jiu-Jitsu. I think Jiu-Jitsu has changed a lot, isn't it, Mika? And for the best, you know? So I'm very happy, very proud to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. I hope to talk a lot about Jiu-Jitsu, but not so much.
So the 3 cool components about human development, which by definition is the process of enlarging people's freedoms and opportunities and improving their well-being. It's our physical, so obviously our bodies, which consists of growth of our body and our brain. The motor skills, our reflexes, sensory, all that. Cognitive, which is how we learn, how we pay attention, or not in class. Memory, reasoning, thinking, our choices, all that. And then really one of the coolest fundamentals of human well-being and development is psychosocial. It's our emotions, our personality, and our relationships, which is awesome. So those 3 things, I think we could talk forever about those 3 things and how Jiu-Jitsu contributes to all of those.
Agreed.
So what do you
100%.
think? What do you think is the most brightest one of those?
I don't think there is the most brightest between them. I think it's a balance between them. Just like Jiu-Jitsu, it's a balance between a lot of stuff together. Mm-hmm. So I joined Jiu-Jitsu first. I'm going to talk a little bit about my story later. But I want to address to this specific topic just a little bit about how Jiu-Jitsu entered in my life and how Jiu-Jitsu developed in my life. Mm-hmm. Because, for example, entering Jiu-Jitsu just to defend myself as a fighting skill, how to protect myself. I came from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. It's a very tough city, very dangerous city. But I never thought about those aspects inside Jiu-Jitsu. I thought, no, I just need to learn how to fight, and that's it. I will manage myself. And then you enter in a Jiu-Jitsu class, things go completely different than you imagine, and you start learning those points through time. And I truly believe Jiu-Jitsu, the philosophical part of Jiu-Jitsu is very interesting. The more you read about it, the more you see the past has done for the future. It's unbelievable because those aspects are, for me, inside Jiu-Jitsu, without no doubts. Just like Jiu-Jitsu, for example, every traditional school of Jiu-Jitsu, there is the symbol of the triangle, is the symbol of balance. And we say that Jiu-Jitsu is the balance between the body, the mind, and the soul. And I believe the body is the physical, the cognitive. Mm-hmm. It will be the mind, and the soul is the psychosocial, because it nurtures your soul to be surrounded by cool people, nice people every day, people that already evolve in a way in society to lose their, their pride, their ego, to go for experience so deep like that, and at the same time so pleasure, so fun. So Jiu-Jitsu give me goosebumps that we were talking about, because for me it started as a very simple tool and develop it into a lifestyle. So I believe Jiu-Jitsu goes deep, 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 and if you surrender to the experience, can go even deeper on you.
Very well said.
I agree.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say Jiu-Jitsu changes people, or does it reveal who they are already?
I believe we are constantly changing in our lives, evolving. That's for me one of the meanings of life. You're not evolving if you're not changing, if you're not progressing for the best. You're not living this full experience as it is. Mm-hmm. But I believe Jiu-Jitsu is a tool for that. Many people have... I don't think Jiu-Jitsu is the only tool available in the world. I believe it's one of them. Mm-hmm. You just need to identify yourself with that tool. So what we say in Jiu-Jitsu is Jiu-Jitsu for everyone. Not everyone is for Jiu-Jitsu. I believe it's specifically about that. Mm-hmm. Not your limitations, not your mindset, just your taste. Some people has taste for ballet, I already teach jiu-jitsu for professional ballet dancers. You see how deep they are in that art, you know, how they work hard as a kid and how that changed their mindset. So I believe jiu-jitsu is just another tool, but it's one of the most special tools I've encountered in my life, doing many sports, being inside music, you know, like art. So jiu-jitsu for me was the combination of everything, the answer, the balance for everything that I wanted. But I don't believe it's the only answer for that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I'm always like listening podcasts and reading, and more about jiu-jitsu. So, I see competitors like jiu-jitsu fighters like Ryron Gracie, Kira Gracie, Fabio Gurgel. They were fighters. They still, but they talk a lot more about human development, and that's what you said. Jiu-jitsu for everybody, right? It's like it's for everyone. So when in your journey, when did you realize what you learned in jiu-jitsu could be used to teach others? And when did you realize you could use this experience to make a difference in someone's life?
That was recently, honestly, with you, you know?
Really?
Yes, like not like 5 years ago, you know, like I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 18 years in my life. So when I started, again, was very physical, was very like, I need to learn how to defend myself. And I had the privilege to come from the city who jiu-jitsu was like, not invented, but was like Brazilian jiu-jitsu was born, you know? So
Yeah, it was on a Rio that
Exactly.
when they came, they starting Rio, right? Like
yeah,
it
if we
was
talk about the history of jiu-jitsu,
yeah.
even goes further.
Yeah.
But it's just like what I want to say is like jiu-jitsu for me, it's a representation of the lifestyle of my city. You know, like where people want to be cool, they want to go to the beach, they want to be happy, they want to represent a lifestyle. Even so, the city has a lot of problems. You know, people try to blind those problems and say, no, I have a
Yes.
lifestyle. You know, and jiu-jitsu mimics that. You know, I believe the biggest thing jiu-jitsu brought to America, it's the technique for sure, but the lifestyle, you know, the hang loose, the shaka vibes. I know it's not proprietary us, you know, Hawaii vibes, but we
Yes.
mimic a lot, you know, like those vibes that we see through the movies, you know, like that kind of lifestyle, you know. And I believe jiu-jitsu bring you that, you know, happiness, that simplicity, you know. You don't need anything for jiu-jitsu. You don't need no jewelry. You don't need no, you know, nice clothes. You just need yourself and be ready mentally for living that experience, and that's priceless for me. And what was the question? Sorry, I think I...
It's okay. You said was recently. When did you realize that what you learn, like, really mean to you how you could make a difference in someone's life?
Was here in America, to be honest with you, Mika, because jiu-jitsu for me back in Brazil was about myself, you know, was about developing myself, was about me getting better, you know, getting ready for the adult lifestyle, you know. So for me, it was very personal journey when I was in Brazil. But like making a long story, a short story, when I came to America was very lonely, depressive, and not in a way like I was chasing what I believed that I had to chase to achieve what I believe, what I wanted to achieve, you know. So you go through ups and downs in your life. Pandemic was on as well. It was very hard to be in a foreign country by yourself, you know, without...
Agree.
Yes, you know, like it was very tough for my mind. And then, like, life's beautiful, you know? Like, I truly believe in the magical power of life. So I had a friend, and then we talked through Instagram, and I saw he was doing jiu-jitsu here in America, living for jiu-jitsu here, teaching classes, and we grew up together in Brazil as teenagers, going to the beach, surfing together, you know? So I call him in a way that I say, let me see if, be honest with you, I'm not saying that it's nice, but, you know, sometimes our minds search for exits to make you comfort, you know? So I was like, let me call this guy and see if his life is shitty. Sorry. if it's
First
like
beep of the
mine
day.
right now, you know, because I was in a very sad moment for me. And I was very happy, energetic, you know, and feeling sad I wasn't feeling like myself. And then when I called the guy, he brought me all the Rio de Janeiro vibe again. Hey, what's up? How's it going? I say, my God, I need to be close to those kind of people again, you know.
Nice.
So I say, well, why are you not doing jiu-jitsu? I say, come to my home. Let's spend the Thanksgiving together. I say, I'm already here, you know, why not? So I drove like 2 hours from the place I was to his house. And then when I got there, he was fooled by his students, you know, jiu-jitsu people together, talking. That good vibe from my city, you know, in America. And I say, that's what I want, why I'm not doing this. So that was a Thursday. On a Monday, I was a student back again in my journey of jiu-jitsu.
Wow. That's awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
That's awesome. So you were a student there, and then you start teaching?
I didn't answer the question
No,
yet.
great.
you answered the question.
You're
but
such a man.
So then you, because it's interesting, like
Girls
so
are
you
so
there,
full of
you
detail.
learning, you're student again,
So-
but then you start teaching.
Exactly. So
Then
I
you-
joined as a student with no pretension of
Yeah.
becoming an instructor, because I came from a place where the instructor was the killers, was the monsters.
Yeah.
So the black belts in my city was like, man, that guy is. So that was my point, like you walk to a room full of the monsters. I never thought that was for me, I was searching a career in advertising in Brazil, I was looking to be like a cool kid, because I had the opportunity to be a cool kid. So I always envisioned a lifestyle for my life, or to be a surfer or a sporter, like something very
Yeah.
cool, because I had the privilege to search for that. And then I followed my career, and then I noticed wasn't looking for, So when I walked to a jiu-jitsu place and I saw the value of jiu-jitsu in people's life, that really touches me, because I never felt that energy before in my life. I was living a life for myself, only for myself, very egocentric, but in a way that I'm not going to interfere in other people's life, but I need to search what is best for me, not in a way of like being bad, nothing like that, but just being egocentrical, So when I joined a jiu-jitsu school and you see like your happiness, your energy can change people's day, I'm not even saying people's life, just 1 hour of your day, and you receive that back in compliments, in love, for a guy who was like alone, So that was very fulfilling.
That's awesome.
So that driven me to keep getting better, keep presenting that energy, and jiu-jitsu helped me to rise.
It's awesome.
Would you ever recommend, I know that you would probably, but doing jujitsu, do you think it would help others who maybe suffer with like that type of mental illness, like depression, bipolar, ADD, ADHD? Do you think it might be something for someone that's like that, it would have positive results?
Again, I don't like generalizing people. I don't like when I'm generalized as well. Everybody's different, but I've encountered in my life different conditions and how jiu-jitsu helped them.
Yeah.
And I like to think it's a miracle, it's the answer. But again, I don't know if it's for everybody, but everybody who does try that, I believe will make you better. Regardless your condition or no condition,
I agree.
will definitely make you a better person.
Yeah. Well,
So you've been doing jiu-jitsu since you were how old?
15.
15. Okay. And before that, did you ever have a time in your life where you wished you would have had already jiu-jitsu?
So that's very funny, because I was never a fighter, like the profile of a fighter, the mindset. I was the goofy guy, I always been the goofy guy my whole life,
You don't say.
So
You still are, Professor.
but you're good with people.
Yeah.
I think my secret power was always, being in all the groups, all the tribes, so I never had like this specific cool kids group in my school. They were there, but I was like in all of them, because I could tell my jokes, get the benefits of each group and then leave the scene, and do my own weirdo thing. So, so ask me the question again.
If you ever had a moment before you were 16 or 15.
Oh, yeah. Now I
That you wish you
remember.
had.
So that was my profile, and back in Brazil, back in Rio. Here in America, I think you have the Sweet 16, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like birthday parties.
Yeah,
In Brazil, it's 15 years old that the girls celebrate you.
Quinceañera. after that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was my first growing up man experience from boy to man, going to your party by yourself. And woo, I'm cool. My friends start kissing the girls and woo, everybody been there, Everybody been there. And then I see by the end of those parties every night, the kids fighting, street fighting. Like, okay, in Brazil, people used to do that, not anymore, but people used to do that. And I was always shocked. I say, man, imagine somebody punch my face. What I'm going to do? I'm going to cry. I was afraid of my reaction more than the real punch, how I'm going to react to that, because my father was very tough. You have to be a man. You have to do this, and I was like, I don't know. So with that experience, I always had in mind that I wanted to do a martial art because of that. But I didn't know the benefits of it. experience just to defend myself, you know. And I have a 10 years older brother and my father, very masculine, you know, and say one day we were playing fight, you know, at home, and both, you know, showed me that I didn't know how to defend myself. I was very, very weird and clumsy, you know, so I felt ashamed. And by myself, you know, and I say, I need to learn something. And my father, what do you want to know? What do you want to learn? Karate. And I say, no, man, I don't want to learn that. I want to learn our city stuff, you know, like Jiu-Jitsu. And he said, no, that's for vandals. You want to be a street fighter? I say, no, I don't want to be a street fighter. But if I have to defend myself, I want to be like those guys, you know? So that's the same week I joined like the closest school that I had. And luckily I lived in Barra, so Gracie Barra was there.
Barra.
So was the start of my journey. And again, I was so afraid of my 15 years old colleagues when I walked through the room with those, you know, those guys that you look and say, wow, I say, if I can get to those guys, nobody can get to me. So that was the feeling, you know, the first wake-up call.
Yeah. Now you're one of those guys, Professor.
I'm more kind. I'm more kind than them.
Yeah.
They weren't kind to me, you know.
Yeah. No.
Few of them. I praise the few of them. They were kind to me. The others,
Does anyone else in your family do jujitsu?
not at all. No other cousin, no other family member, you know, just like the black sheep of the family, the vandal. But that's very nice, that topic for me, because that was the impression, you know, of jiu-jitsu in my city. And recently, like, I don't know, we started like teaching jiu-jitsu for real, like 4 years ago. And I had the opportunity to bring my mom to America to see what jiu-jitsu is in America. And my mom was like mesmerized, you know, because we had the image of a fighter in the 90s of Brazil, you know. And you see the image of a fighter in America in 2025, you know, totally different, you know, using the same tool, but for a completely different purpose. And that's how beautiful it is for me, because the tool has changed, has evolved, you know, like has developed, but like the purpose, it's completely different. So I love that.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm thankful for the change, because I couldn't have joined, for example.
Yeah.
I think some of us wouldn't have been able to join had it been the old school way.
I agree. And like, you know, I don't want to keep reinforcing names. I don't know if that's the thing here, but we have to say some names in jiu-jitsu, you know, and like Carlos Gracie Jr. was the one who opened the door for the vision of jiu-jitsu, you know, not just for Gracie Barra, any other flag of jiu-jitsu. I'm not here to be the club guy talking only about my club, but it's impressive how jiu-jitsu developed in America, and through America, how jiu-jitsu expanded to the whole world, you know, because that's the view, you know, if something goes right in America, we'll go right on the other parts of the world, you know. And the guy tested here, brought the world championship to here, imported a lot of, you know, like good quality material of professors, professionals. And you see the boom of jiu-jitsu nowadays, and I still believe it's the beginning. I still believe in jiu-jitsu from, you know, 50 years from now will be one of the main tools of society, as long as, you know, we are able to free ourselves from our egos, because it's growing more and more. So you'll be able to enjoy the benefits of jiu-jitsu.
So, talking about that, talk about defend yourself, and so it's really cool to think about competition, right? It's like training, and then, you know, like when we have the girls go, and I enjoy, like, oh, let's train that, and, you know, the energy, the team going and everything. But like reality is what? 95% of the gym is not competition, right? So like 95% is people like kind of me. I go for the lifestyle. I go to learn. I go to work my mind. You know, thinking about that. So jiu-jitsu can really teach you a lot about yourself, right? How much do you think that life transformations coming from accepting your tough moments and staying humble to them?
I want to address first to the competition part, like in a very different way, because I truly believe competition is only one, like, how can I say, one vein of this, you know, the sport, but it's a very artery part of the sport as well, because it's impressive how competition, even for us as a school, as a team, has fulfilled the energy of the hobbyist students as well, you know. Have people competing on your team fulfill that primitive, like energy of I want to do better, I want to get better, I don't want to lose, in a very good way. Because I love an American saying that say it doesn't matter when you're losing, what really matters is the willing to win. So the fire inside, and when you have one student sometimes or a couple of students in that fire, you kind of spread the fire through the whole school, and everybody's motivated to make you better. Even the kids, watching your kids like supporting Mario, for example, like, hey, let's go, it's beautiful,
It's even like training together, like I train with them and not
the victory of one student is the victory of everybody,
Yes.
because
I agree.
we walk together on the trenches. But I still believe you don't need to compete in order to live jiu-jitsu, So it's a fine line over there. But I believe those who pass that line and go through the hardest experience that you can have in jiu-jitsu, I believe the hardest one would be self-defense and when you really defend yourself in a life scenario. But like as a sport, will be the competition who will bring you the primitive animal inside you, the fear, the anger and everything together, the boiling emotions, make us feel alive, It's really important how you deal with them is because feeling them is primitive, but how you deal with them is what makes us smarter and, a better person because everybody feels the same.
Yeah, it helps with the actual human development. That it's like our natural, we're naturally competitive. It's basic game theory, really. When we try to, take in all the things around us and find the best outcome. That's what it is in a role. That's what it is in a training session. And I think we do that naturally. So when one person wants to compete, we're all in.
Plus the family vibe, one bring, the coconut water to the
Support
other,
system.
and one has the list when the other's gonna fight, and then you start calling the other, hey, the son of somebody's gonna fight there, and then you feel that family vibe. That jiu-jitsu for me is the best sport in the world to bring the family vibe, as long as you have a good environment, I believe that's the hardest quest in jiu-jitsu is to set up a good environment for people to train and be themselves. Because it's still a lot of rotten oranges in the bag that just think about the fighting mentality, the tough, only for the tough ones, and by the end of the day, you're going to be by yourself. The toughest, lonely person in the world.
That's very true. So if you still had that ego before you started jiu-jitsu,
It's not your amigo.
You wouldn't. Exactly.
Slogan.
Come on. Oh, I love our goofy professor. Your ego is not your amigo.
I saw that in the Berlin Wall, and I said, this is genius.
It is awesome.
So, do you think life transformation comes from accepting your tough moments and stay humble through them?
Not just your tough moments, your great moments. It's about accepting the experience as a whole. As I say a lot of as long as, but there's always counters in life, because there is no magic formula, I think it's very personal, but everybody feeds their self of what they want more, and everybody mix is different, so some people shine in different moments with different skills, with different mindsets, but we all share common feelings, common beliefs, and a lot of stuff. Even we are in a multicultural country, but it's impressive how jiu-jitsu can unify us. Sometimes in one class we have 10 different cultures. I'm the crazy Brazilian, you as well.
Kind of like it.
I kind of like as well. But is the it's so different. But we are talking about one thing only. Jiu-jitsu. And jiu-jitsu is all about what? About you. About your body, about your mind, about your soul. So it's very human, and being human, I think jiu-jitsu rely on the, something that is lacking more and more and more in society, relies on respect.
When it comes to the human development part, I can't imagine your viewpoint is got to be amazing because I think just in the time that I've been in jiu-jitsu, I've noticed for myself and for others how much people grow. And I'm wondering what your take on it is. If it's because we're kind of forced to face these battles constantly that in life maybe would take longer, right? So it might take us 50 years to get
hide
there.
as well, isn't
right.
it?
Whereas it's exposing those things that we don't want to face, but we have to.
Face-to-face confrontation, you and yourself in the mirror very close, eye to eye,
Yeah.
So,
you can't hide it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We really, like me and Natalie, we reinforce a lot the philosophical part of jiu-jitsu in the kids' class because I truly believe they have to understand they do that for a higher purpose than just fighting and defending themselves. That is essential, but that's not all, you know. So the benefits of jiu-jitsu are endless, and if you surrender to that experience again, you're gonna leave that. So I believe it's beautiful, you know. I truly believe it's beautiful, and who am I to evaluate a person, you know? Who am I? I don't have the skills to do that. I didn't study psychology, you know. Like, it's not me at all. But one thing, it's clear like water. People transformation in their faces, in their posture, in their happiness, in their self-confidence. You know, like I saw the podcast here with France, and I was mesmerized because I saw Francine walk into my gym, kind of head down, you know, like
Super
shy,
quiet.
super quiet, you know. And now she's a completely different person, you know, smiling, you know, rolling with the girls, her husband there, family, her daughter. That's the power of jiu-jitsu. That's the really gem of jiu-jitsu, you know, because don't get me wrong, I know it's not a cheap sport, but shouldn't be, you know, because the benefits when you experience, it's much better than spending on night outs and whatever you're going to spend on BS or in your life.
I agree.
And I talk this like, oh, because now you're an instructor, you need to make money. No, I've been a student for 18 years, you know,
Yeah.
so don't give me that, you
Yeah.
know, like I still pay royalties, you know, so I'm a still student. I'll be student forever because it's about what you believe, and I truly believe in what I do, you know. I chose this path because I truly believe that's powerful, you know, and that's going to give you legacy, going to give you like something to be remembered by or for, you know, like because you're helping people. So it's not about you anymore. My journey was about me, making me happy. I'm already happy, you know. I want to transfer this to someone else, you know, and maybe get back as well, because getting back is the pleasure, you know, like when you help someone and they help you back, you know, and we have this a lot in our schools, you know.
Yes.
Hey, I think it's super cool when people live next there for everybody. Simple things, you know, you don't need to, people think that helping somebody in their life is, no, it's borrowing money or, you know, that type of things. Sometimes you smile, you know, you say, how are you doing today, you know, open the door and be excited to see your face, you know, because sometimes people are like, look at you like, what this guy's doing here, you know? And when you're welcome somewhere, like I've been here today, it's different, you know, like makes you feel like fulfilled. I think that's the word.
That's a good word to put. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, definitely. When did you make the decision that you were going to teach?
Wasn't made by me, you know, like the opportunity was offered by my professor in California. Amazing person that I met in my life as well, you know, like that's why I love jiu-jitsu, you know, because make me encounter the most amazing people I ever met in my life with no ego, no BS, you know, not willing to show materialistic things. Don't get me wrong, materialistic things are nice, you know, but that's not the real deal, you know. And when you meet people evolved, I don't know, I ever been like this, you know, I don't have like jealousy, I don't have like envy in me. I have admiration, you know, when I meet that has been, you know, like when I meet those guys in my life, stand there, say, Shama. You know, when I meet those people in my life, they make me feel alive, you know. I look at them and say, if this guy can do it, I can do it, you know. It's inspiration for me. The path is not easy, ain't easy at all, but it wasn't easy for them, you know, so don't give me that. We have to be ready for that, you know, seek inspiration, look at the athletes, you know, the guys who are there, like whatever profession you make, if you succeed, you have something special, you know. I truly believe in whatever you do, if you succeed, and success is very personal, you know, succeed in what you believe you succeed, you know, that's very personal. If you make that, you know, you follow your dreams, you make your dreams happen. I need to learn from you as well and inspire me to do my personal journey.
Kind of on that line, now that you're a professor, what's something your students have taught you?
It's so like I can stop and think about it. One meaningful, really, really meaningful thing, you know. But I learn every day, you know. Like especially with the kids, you know. Like the kids brought me back. Like I'm the youngest of my family, and for a long time in my life, like more than 10 years, I didn't have like the socialization with the kids anymore. So I lost a little bit of my naive part of my, you know, my soul, because life requires you sometimes to do that. And that is trauma for me in life, you know, when you lose your younger kids, your younger silliness, your younger, you know, like the curiosity, you know, the playfulness. I believe you kind of rotten inside a little bit.
That is so true.
You know, like you can recover, no doubts about it, but for sure you become a little bit more bitter, you know? So I was a little bit more bitter in my life, more that's evolution for me. I'm not saying that I walk my path full of like beautiful things, you know. I hadn't. I was the guy bullying people because I was bullied. Like I listened on your girl's podcast. I was trying to be mean, to be cool, you know. I walked that path as well, but I didn't have no benefits from that path. You know, walking the same path. That's one thing I praise about me. If like I adapt, you know. If something is not going the way that I like, that I love, that I get my joy, I change it, you know, like I change at different times in my life. So I'm always seeking, you know, of course, the best for me is very personal, but I'm always thinking to be a better person, better human, you know. So whenever I encounter good people in my life, they show me the way. So those guys are responsible for, you know, the routes, you know, because I haven't walked that path before. I didn't know what is supposed to be a jiu-jitsu instructor, you know. I say, I don't have the skills for that. Never had. I never was focused in jiu-jitsu. I was doing jiu-jitsu 5 days a week, but surfing, go to nights, you know, like living the lifestyle, you know, like, so I wasn't living for jiu-jitsu. I was living for myself.
And the cool thing about teaching kids, which I watch you guys, is they just have fun. And they actually learn better through having fun. So it's, you know, you live vicariously through them, really, you know, which is awesome.
I remember you, Amanda. I remember when one of the first encounters, me and Amanda, she talked to me like, you're too nice for teaching this. Like, you know, like, you can be more, you know, with my girls, you know, put them, like, you know, to understand.
I was trained by Germans, so.
And I say, Amanda, this sport is already rough enough, you know, like, we're already choking each other. We're already on the top of each other. If I don't make this joyful, they will quit.
Yeah.
You know, because I
So
quit
true.
before, you know, like I've been there. So if you don't make this like playful for them, they're kids, you know. If you don't make, it's like, don't get me wrong, I see a lot of schools out there and I praise them a lot, you know, to make like young athletes. I think that's one of the hardest things, how you input in a kid's mind that's, you know, like that dedication. I think that's badass, don't get me wrong at all. But like for the majority of kids, and I'm not here to work with 5% that we talked before, I'm here to achieve 100% of the full potential of jiu-jitsu. We have to make this for everybody, everyone. And again, I still believe that we can input those lessons, you know, that quality of jiu-jitsu, even being playful.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually a great example of evolution, what this sport does. I was too serious, right? I was way too serious. I was still a bench mom. I was in a terrible place.
She needed a Brazilian sprinkle.
Yeah. And then you're like, come, do 30 days. And I did. And now we have so much fun.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it literally changed my life.
It's all about
sweets
fun
you
for
were
me.
doing the
It's
other
all about
week,
fun.
last week.
I have a new rolly thing.
Even this Saturday, I say, Amanda, what are you doing here?
I know, he's like, are you okay? You're on a Saturday. I have my life back.
Awesome.
It's impressive how addicting it is, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I knew it was, but when I came back, I was even more. And I say, my God, this is really addicting. And kids has a lot of benefits, but as adult, being brought back to that childish moment of your life of playfulness for 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. It doesn't matter. It's so pure, you know. It's very, very. What else you can do? Of course, other sports, but like I don't know, I'm
like
biased, you know.
adult
Jiu-jitsu is very weird, but
we
very
have a great
nice.
vibe too. Like our
Yeah.
gym has the best vibe. There's other gyms that don't have that vibe. And I wouldn't like that as much, but that's for some people.
Yeah.
It's just
No doubt.
Everybody's different.
It's like,
No doubts.
Yeah.
But I envision that vibe with my friends, with my professor, with the schools that I visit in my life. When you see that vibe, you walk through the door, you feel the vibe.
Yeah.
You see the
You
guys
feel
talking each other, you know. You see the guy sending the shaka. You see the guy welcoming into the school. And we have a lot of students that are like that, you know. Like, and like, this is my job. Yes, it is. But sometimes I'm doing something else. And it's beautiful to see that you guys, somebody new walk through the door, you welcome. You say, no, he will be right back to you, you know. And then give, hey, what are you doing here? Start the conversation, you know. That's so nice, you know. And that's not something that I ask it or require. It's something naturally. And that makes me even more happy, you know,
yeah,
because
it
it's not
incites
forced.
synchronicity entirely.
Yeah, it's not forced at all. People want to help me because I help them, and that's the beautiful cycle of, you know, good things for me. You can enter on the bad cycle. I don't want to enter that. You know, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there.
I don't think any of us do.
Some people like. Some people definitely like. Tell me. I'm ready for 3 hours.
All right. We got plenty more questions. If you had to describe what kind of human BJJ helps you become, how would you put it into words?
Jiu-Jitsu helped me to become myself,
Nice.
not be ashamed of myself, not be afraid to show people who I am. That's what Jiu-Jitsu made me become. Because by the end of the day, porrada.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you fight to be yourself on the mats. That's it. You know, there's no masks over there. So even on, I was criticized before by like not in our space in my journey to be too goofy. You know, like why are you laughing so much? Why are you so happy? I thought this was a freedom country, you know, like the land of the freedom. You cannot be happy over here, you know, like so. People don't realize this, you know, but by the end of the day, okay, you don't want me to be funny. Let's roll. You know?
But you're still funny.
Get either or.
You know, like, so that's the beauty of Jiu-Jitsu is the balance between the freedom and the primitive, you know, because by the end of the day, you fight. And when you fight, you don't have to say more, you know? You just...
Speaks for itself.
Exactly. And that's beautiful because I already tasted the opposite, you know? I talk my... and then you fight and I say, I need to be quiet.
Me too sometimes.
Exactly, you know,
You know
like
why.
sometimes, you know, so I learned through I didn't got here by like, oh, I imagine it was like, no, I suffer
through
a
it.
lot, you know, and that was very, very good for me. Very, very good. Not pleasure like all the time, but very good. By the end of the day, definitely made us stronger, definitely.
You're like a testament for the human development because you're super young still, but yet you're an old soul. Like you're wise beyond your years because of a lot how you manage the school and how that you help with the community and everything. It's beyond. It's like what Amanda was saying. It's, you know, playful yet still we fight, you know, so it shows.
I appreciate that because, again, I felt loneliness before in this country, and my goal was to build family, and not just family by myself, but community, you know, because I lived in community before in my city. You know, I had a lot of love from my friends, my family. So I was in need of that love again, but natural love, you know, not forced love. People like you because you're rich, you're this, you're that. No, people like you because you are you, you know?
Yeah,
and you're always going to encounter those type of people that like you because you're you know? And that's it. That's, for me, is the magic formula, encountering people that like you because you're you. So Jiu-Jitsu allows us to have that hot spot, you know, that's, you know, like the hub of people who it's like-minded, completely different, but yet like-minded, and provide them a safe environment, safe for yourself. You're not going to hurt yourself. Maybe hurt your feelings, but not your... Probably if you push too much, you know? But will allow you to recover, will allow you to be happy, will allow you to talk your BS, will allow you to be yourself. You know, I think it's super important to lose a little bit of our filters because... I listen to you girls. So you put the head of the mom and you have different personalities towards that. That doesn't mean it's a different you. It's just different shades of you. So Bernardo as instructor has to be different than Bernardo as the party friend is different than Bernardo the brother. You have a lot of hats in this life, but that doesn't mean it's not you. It's always you, but different shades of you. And what Jiu-Jitsu allows me is to bring a little bit of Bernardo as a friend, as a brother, as a son to the mats. And that's beautiful for me because that's a little bit who I am. You know, of course, we have our personal lives apart, but that moment that I'm on the mats, I'm myself.
That's what brought me to jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
actually. That is still, it's allowed me to, even if I don't want to face it, which is kind of what we had talked about before.
You will face it.
You will. And the more you push it down,
keep happening.
the more it's going to be like, nope.
It's closer and closer.
It's going to hit you right in the face now.
And
But
it's
it
a great
does.
reality
is.
shock, like, because sometimes you get your ass whooped by, you know, a teenage girl like me, you know, like I had it before, or like a mom, like Natalie does to the other students, you know, the newcomers say, go train with Natalie.
Oh
And
my
Natalie,
God, why did you do
hello. Super friendly, and then smash them, you know, like, so that's awesome, you know, that's truly awesome. And I have like a how can I say, a despicable pleasure, like the guru from the Minions, you know, go kill that person. It's amazing, you know, it's amazing, you know, it's a little mean, but I truly believe makes if you can face yourself and go through that, you're gonna be better.
It's friendly
Stronger.
fire.
Yeah.
Stronger, 100%.
100% strong.
You're going to fight this more than you're going to fight anybody else or physically or any of that.
Yeah, you can't lie in a role.
You cannot
You
lie.
can't.
No.
And sometimes, regardless the physicality, you know, sometimes it's a big big guy, you know, that you feel like this guy's gonna destroy me, and then you put the guy on the ground, he becomes a baby again, you know, and then you see, wow, he's so vulnerable, and you never thought he was vulnerable because of his size, of his look, and sometimes you meet the little guy, skinny, super polite. I tell Mika sometimes joking that the person that I'm more afraid to walk through my gym is the guy, you know, with glasses, they're gonna bow to the mats, gonna show respect, gonna ask if he can train, super polite. I say, this is a monster.
Yeah,
You know, this is
exactly.
truly a monster. He's walking to a random environment like full of confidence.
Yeah.
Yes.
The guy who walk with a big
true.
chest, willing to prove, I say, this is a nice day. Today is gonna be an awesome day. Time to teach some life lessons would be amazing.
So you talk about your professor. Is that the one in California?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Do you have a which other people on your journey like that was
So
very
many,
important?
Mika, so many.
you?
Like a special shout out. Like I don't see him in years, you know, but one of my professors in Brazil, he was fantastic to show me like the kindness of the monster, you know, because
awesome.
for me he was the monster, and whenever I encounter him, like our neighborhood, like Barra in Rio, was very like small city vibes in America, you know, everybody know each other because you live in a big city, but you have the small neighborhood that everybody knows each other, everybody walks together. And I don't know, like those guys brought me the feeling of being part of a clan, you know, being part of, you know, a gang, but in a good way, you know, like not the violent, but like that like stereotype, that aura, that vibe, you know, for a shy kid was very cool to be part of that. And after that, all the development that we talked about it. But I have a lot of people in my life that brought me back to jiu-jitsu or brought jiu-jitsu into my life in a way that I'm very grateful to them, you know. So I had my friends in California that, you know, brought me the joy again to be on the mats. I have my professor in California that brought me back the spiritual jiu-jitsu samurai vibe, you know, to be correct, to be, you know, truthful, to be loyal, to show people that you can change their life, help the community. So that for me is priceless. What that guy taught me, not in a way of being a professor, sit down, let me teach you something, but taught me by doing it. You know, I'm very alert to people, what they do, how they behave since I was a kid. And I learn a lot through osmosis, I like to say. I don't need to put my finger on the plug to see if it shocks. I look everybody, let me see if he's going to put the finger over there. You know? So I was like that type of kid, very, how can I say, observant.
Observant.
So he taught me a lot how to be, you know. So inside jiu-jitsu, of course, I had these people in my life as well, my parents, my brother, you know. But it's a combination of admiration, again, you know. I have a lot of people like I don't know personally, but when I watch like Michael Jordan documentary, you know, it's inspiring, you know, like you have a lot of people out there, you know. Once I rode with a guy with no hands, you know, look, say, my God, this guy's not complaining, he's kicking ass with no hands. Who am I, you know, like who am I? I have my two hands, I'm complaining about my finger hurts, you know, like, so I have a lot of like, I cannot name them because it's so many, but it's a combination, you know, like of those guys in a way that I can distance them in how they inspire me. I don't compare them. I never compare this to that. But like how this influenced me here and how this there, and how can I take the benefits of that person and put in myself.
Yeah,
You know?
all different parts of your life also.
Exactly.
Probably.
Exactly,
Like
and different
times,
needs, different
right?
needs. You know, when
Yeah.
you're 15 years old, like I was, I needed like the protection vibe. You know,
Yes.
like I
In
got your
Rio.
back, kiddo. You know, like I got your back. You're part of the Gracies. You know, like. Oh, I'm safe, you know. Like later in my life, I was in America. I say, okay, I don't think nobody will harass me in that way anymore, you know.
Yeah.
But I needed the protection of home,
Yeah.
and that brought me the home feeling again. You know, being in my city again,
Yeah,
be
this is so
surrounded by
cool.
people that
The
I like
support
again. You
system.
know. So I believe it depends on your need, and I believe jiu-jitsu can fulfill your needs as long as you are true to your needs, you know.
It's that community part element that's super important in the development for
Super.
people. And nowadays with modern jobs, you know, how everybody's working 2 jobs or mom and dad are working, however it is in the family, or we're so busy, it's hard to find a community.
And how crazy is a person who go out of their home, of their comfort, to go to a place they're not like it or love it or not even welcome to fight.
Yeah, yeah.
That for me doesn't make any sense, you know.
Yeah.
I love getting out of my home to find my friends,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
to find people that I like. Sometimes there's jerks. There is. It's part of the game. But if as long as 95% it's it's a culture, and the culture reinforce themselves because those guys they're gonna leave, like, and I'm learning that now as an instructor because you attach yourself emotional to people and sometimes you need to let it go. It's very hard to let it go because you establish a weekend routine with them and they're very happy sometimes with you and all of a sudden they disappear, or even the obvious, they're not happy with you and they disappear. But it hurts more when you make that connection and people disappear from your life for whatever reason it is. I don't think every person has a different reason, but that hurts. And that at the same time, as a student, I quit before without saying goodbye. So I can imagine that it hurts as well because you're part of people's routine and all of a sudden you disappear. So that makes me evolve, it makes me learn my lesson of, how can I say, nowadays is a very strong word towards emotional credit. I think I'm trying to translate from Portuguese because when you have like your ex reflects on something, and you have that emotional
intelligence, maybe?
No, it was something like for example, let's use a silly example to explain my point. Like if you don't like a girl, she approaches you or whatever, you deny her and then you make fun later, you're not taking care or credit for her emotions at that time, like it makes sense.
Emotional credit makes sense.
Yeah, so for example, whatever act that I have in my life is going to reflect on someone emotionally as well, good or bad. And if you're talking or whatever, being mean, like without thinking about how that person will feel, that's really bad. That for me is karma,
Karma,
And
definitely karma.
I didn't believe in that when I was 15 to my
Us women
20s.
tend to do that sometimes when we get a little
Yeah, but my
pissy.
example wasn't towards like specifically the relationship between men and women. It's towards everybody, because when I was 15 to 20s, I was very egocentric, I didn't know my ex will reflect some of, like,
Oh,
whatever.
you're talking about empathy? Like for the
like
person?
not considering the other
Or feels
person's
and feelings?
feelings.
Yes, I understand empathy, but
Okay.
it's more than empathy. You have to take, like...
Responsibility.
Responsibility.
Thank you, exactly. Emotional responsibility.
Gotcha.
I think that's the word in Portuguese, You're responsible as well for how the other person will feel according to your ex. That's my point.
Right.
Yeah.
And that reflects in life as a whole,
that's
I
so
didn't take
true.
credit how I treat I was very respectful, but if I quit tomorrow, whatever, it's my life. I can quit whenever I want. But you never think that
Now
guy
you're on
is,
the other side.
that guy works the whole year, that guy's there for you. Imagine being emotionally prepared for 100 people, 200 people. Some people out there have like 500 people. It's a lot of credit inside you, Sometimes I go home, not sad, but charged, like
Yeah,
and-
a lot of energy.
I believe in that. But again,
Me too.
it's my responsibility because I took this and I say, I'm going to do it. So I have to back up this energy sometimes and put it out in the different ways. That's one thing I love Jiu-Jitsu because you charge, but you discharge right away, You fight and I say, tonight, it's like I'm coming to class because I need to be here. It's not like that I want anymore. I need to discharge. I need to put that out, And not just me. Everybody in life has that charge. You have your kids and everything,
You gotta let it out.
I can feel
Yeah.
the weeks. Like this week, I only went there 3 times. It was a crazy week. But usually when I go 5 or 6 times, I'm not so like, I don't have so much emotionally pent up, like that energy. It could be bad, it could be good, it could be any kind of energy, but it's energy that needs to be
Yeah, it
released.
needs to be released from your body.
Needs
And
to
when
be
it's not,
recycled.
I can feel it. Like I feel it
You
when
feel
I wake
heavy,
up.
isn't it?
Yeah, like I feel like I'm like, man, like what is like lingering over me? Like it's like a cloud. I don't
That's
even
what
know how
I
else to
call
explain
the
it.
jiu-jitsu therapy, porradoterapia.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need to put it out. Imagine like a psychologist that's listened to many case scenarios in life, sometimes very deep. How this guy discharged that, Come to jiu-jitsu, Put on the mats. We say the mats can hold everything, But basically, after a while in jiu-jitsu, that's what you do, therapy. You're not doing... Sometimes you have the fire of a competition. I'm going to compete. But most of the time, you're healing. Healing from an injury or healing inside, But
Yes,
most of the
that's
time, you're
facts.
healing.
Healing, growing,
Growing,
learning.
exactly.
It seems like a constant, like there's a circle, I forget what it's called, but it's an incomplete circle. It's usually in the form of like a snake, and most people know that symbol. And it usually means it's like, it's not complete. because you're never going to be fully complete because you're always going to be growing. And if you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, the journey is endless. Like the
Yeah.
belts are endless in jiu-jitsu as well. You know, it's a life journey because life is a journey. You know, it's not supposed to happen in 3 years and then now I'm ready for whatever. No, you're never gonna be ready, but you're always ready. You know, like that type of feeling. So I believe like jiu-jitsu is that. You know, like as I told you girls before, like I believe there is many other sports and outlets over there that is going to help you through your journey, is going to help you through your mind, you know, but I never experienced before, and that's completely personal. There's a lot of things out there that I never experienced, but I never experienced before something so complete: community, personal journey, vibes, you know, happiness, exercise, physicality, whatever, technicality, because jiu-jitsu is also like the murder yoga, you know, it's also beautiful to, you know, like apply yourself to do a beautiful move, and then you're doing something like you girls do the berimbolos, you know, like, so it's something like that, you know, it's art. For me, it's art, you know, like it's a manifestation of yourself, how you express yourself, like AK dance, you know, I do jiu-jitsu. That for me is kind of the same, but I still believe jiu-jitsu is more complete, you know, because we can have the part of the dancing, like we joke, let's dance, guys, because we dance. It's a choreography, but it's a little choreography, and that brings the whole spiciness to jiu-jitsu that is unmatched for me.
It is. It's beautiful, like dancing. When you
Yeah.
see two people who know
It's
jiu-jitsu,
very subtle, very artistic, but very little. You break bones,
Yeah.
you choke people.
Yes.
So it's like the balance between, you know, like the yin and yang, you know, of
Yes.
life.
Yeah, I agree.
I think discipline is another awesome part of it too, because I think we've all experienced, especially as moms, you know, that helps our kids evolve. You know, we recently were going to take our daughter out for a month because she was fresh, she got in trouble, and I was like, no, she's going to work harder at jiu-jitsu, and it worked, right? I mean, so far.
I told mom, we're going to
You
push
know,
her
and
more.
and it's that even as adults, you know, oh, I'm not going to go tonight, and you make yourself go, you always feel better.
And consistency in jiu-jitsu is a slap on your face, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes in life we're not consistent at the gym or whatever it is, and you can put under the carpet, you know, like you hide it. Oh, I'm not consistent, but in 2 months I can come back, and then I put my body back in place.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, you go to a roll class, you know, a live training class, you haven't rolled in 2 months, like we had an experience
Yes.
this weekend with a guy, he didn't roll in 3 years. It's a slap on your face. You're going to want to puke. You're going to feel like dizzy. You're going to feel embarrassed, you know, because you cannot hit the same move that you used to hit, you know. And then you say, only been 2 months. And then you want to get back on track because you feel ashamed for yourself, you know. It's a personal battle between you and yourself, you know. I'm better than this, you know. So jiu-jitsu always slap you on the face. Even right now, you know, like I visit sometimes different schools or different places, and it's a slap on your face, but it's so beautiful after 18 years to be slapped on your face again and not being comfortable anymore. You know, recently as a student, I went to San Diego, and, you know, I had my ass kicked, you know, being like, you have the feeling, oh, now I'm the instructor, nobody kicked my ass, and then you go there, people kick your ass. And sorry, it's beautiful, you know. It's being a kiddo again, you know. As long as you lose your ego, you're gonna have fun. And I had a lot of fun to have my, you know, again, because it's humbling. Like I brought my friend from Brazil, Moto, and I remember like everybody stopping to watch me roll with him just to see my ass get, you know.
Yeah.
And I say, my God, everybody
It was
here
fun. When is
wants.
he coming back, actually?
We did.
Everybody was celebrating, my friend, like, yes, you got him, you know? Like, I say, my God.
Natalie had pom-poms.
They're rooting for me to lose today. But I understand, you know, it's the guy that sometimes is winning. That's beautiful, you know, because it always circle. And one day you girls, you already leave that in a more like sometimes this experience, and more you're gonna leave that, you know, like the girls that you were from the past, in the future you're gonna laugh and see, my God, so much that I evolved, isn't it? Look how clumsy I was. Even the possibility of watching videos that you have nowadays, isn't it? But the feeling of going to the mats, you know, and see, my God, how I evolved in this journey. And I believe the belts are like meritocracy is something that I truly believe that works, and belts are nothing more than meritocracy. You make it happen, you dedicate yourself. I'm not comparing you to whatever, you know, it's you and yourself always. And see a person developing into a black belt is much more than just you know, a fabric on your waist. It's much more than showing that you can break arms. For me, being a black belt in jiu-jitsu is being a black belt in life, you know. It's much more because 100% of your time you have to be a black belt. You know, you have consequence in all the acts that you do for society as a black belt. So for me, being a black belt is not skillful only. It's a mindset. It's a emotional that we talk responsibility. If you know, I cannot go around and fight because I want to fight. It's not like that. Like I can hurt someone for real. Sometimes this person was just in a angry day, not very well, and sometimes they say something and you go physically because you can do it. No, you have to be very emotional, responsible for breathe, let it go, and say it's not worth it. And later to your students, you free your mind again.
That's Porrada Day.
Exactly. And Brazilian Heritage Day. No class today, porrada.
Like everybody looks at each other.
Natalie's friend recently. No. I love it. It's the Porrada Day is the best.
So, Professor, before we finish today, can you tell something to people that's listeners, like for the moms that
Get
train
philosophical,
jiu-jitsu,
please.
for our friends in jiu-jitsu in our community, and for everybody else?
I don't know if it's the time yet, but I chose a quote with Mika from Carlos Gracie Sr.
Yeah,
that
let's
expressed
do
for
it.
me in very few words energy, a vibe. It's not just, you can apply this to whatever in your life, but this is for me, it's energy.
So the quote's from Carlos Gracie Jr.
Senior.
Sorry. Thinking only about the best, working only for the best, and always expecting the best.
That's it. That's why I wake up every day, to be my best version, to give my best to people. And I always receive the best, by the end of the day, the best smile, the best energy, the best love, and you see that growing. So that's it. That's the secret of life for me. It's very ethereal, very general, but if you apply that in whatever you do, it's going to happen.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So thank you so much.
Thank you,
for
girls.
taking your
Amazing.
time.
I could be there. I could be here forever.
We could.
I got my caffeine on. I'm ready, but it's a pleasure.
Thanks for,
Like I'll keep
taking
listening. It's a pleasure. I love it. And again, this is jiu-jitsu for me. Like you girls came to me in a way just for looking for an activity or whatever, and seeing you girls develop into friendship. Family, podcasts, endeavors together. Like that's jiu-jitsu. That's community. That's family. That's love. And jiu-jitsu for me is the translation of all of those.
Thank you.
Thanks, Professor.
Thank you.
So so that's it for today. I hope you enjoy our resenha. If you like this podcast, please follow us.
Can I do a special request?
Yes.
Finish up with a double shaka vibe,
Oh yeah.
Look us up on Instagram.
Feel that
Facebook.
vibe. Come to jiu-jitsu, whatever. Doesn't matter where you live. Go to jiu-jitsu. Find a school. Good environment for you. Forget about flags, Love your flag. Love yourself, And go experience. Try jiu-jitsu. Stop. Get out of the couch.
Yes.
That's perfect. Follow us on Geek Squad Podcast on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. And see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Os.